Hi there, Jesse here with eTrailer. Today we'll be taking a look at and I'll show you how to install the CURT custom fit trailer hitch receiver on our 2012 Jeep Wrangler. Adding a hitch to a Wrangler makes a ton of sense. These are cars that are known for adventures and camping trips, so being able to add on that extra storage space to the rear of the vehicle is really nice. With a hitch, you can add on something like a cargo carrier or a bike rack, and you can even do some towing with your Jeep. Here's a closer look at our hitch. There is no cross tube, so all you'll be able to see is the receiver. As you can see, that has a nice gloss black finish, and the receiver is a 2" by 2". That's going to be standard for most accessories. Then behind that is another standard 5/8" pinhole. The pin and clip are not included with the hitch. However, we have many options available here at eTrailer. Also, any accessory that you add on will most likely come with one included. Then for our safety cable loops, these are going to be super easy to access with any style safety cable that you might have. For example, this S or even this large clevis. Now we'll get some measurements. The Jeep does sit up pretty high, so you shouldn't have to worry about ground clearance. But from the ground to the top of the inside of the collar is about 19.5 inches. So just think ahead if you're looking to tow a trailer with it. I would get a ball mount with a slight drop to it. Then from our center of our pinhole here to the edge of the tire is about 7 inches. So Jeeps with the spare tire being on the back like this, just think of that for your folding accessories. Look for something with a longer shank so that it doesn't get in the way when you're trying to fold that up into the stow position. And for our weight capacities, for gross trailer weight, we have 5,000 pounds. That's the amount of weight that you can pull behind the vehicle. And then we have a maximum tongue weight of 500 pounds. That's the amount of weight pushing down on the hitch. You do have the option to use weight distribution with this hitch. However, both those numbers will stay the same. And also be sure to double check your Jeep's owner's manual to ensure that your Wrangler can handle that weight safely. All in all, I think a hitch is a great addition to a Jeep Wrangler. I'm honestly surprised that they don't just come with one from the factory. As for the installation, it's a pretty simple process. You may have to lower the exhaust a bit just to make some more room. So if it's not something that you're looking to do yourself, maybe you don't have the time, the space, or the tools to do so, feel free to check out our dealer locator. If you are looking to get this installed yourself, then just follow along and I'll show you how we set up ours. Also, if you've installed this hitch before, you just want to share some tips or tricks with us, or you just want to share some photos of what you're using your hitch for, then please feel free to leave a review or a comment. We'll begin our installation by getting our exhaust lowered down. You don't necessarily have to, it's just going to make things a lot easier. And what I did before is, this Jeep's pretty old, so there's some rust built up. So I sprayed some soapy water on our hangers here. Hopefully that makes it a little easier. I'm just going to use a pry bar, prying against the isolator and the frame and work on getting this popped off. Another thing is to make sure that you have the exhaust supported by something like a cam strap. It's just going to help us safely lower it without damaging the exhaust. It does help to have an exhaust hanger tool like this, but you should be able to get it with a pry bar. We'll just get that most of the way off, then we should be able to get it by hand. So that hanger's loose. We're going to work on the passenger side now. And we have one more a little farther forward on the vehicle. With that pop loose, we can see that we have a little bit of wiggle room to move our exhaust around, and we can loosen our strap up a little bit. One thing I do recommend before you get the hitch lifted up into place, just run your hardware through all 4 of your holes, make sure that it actually fits through both sides. Because in our instance, we did run into a couple of holes that weren't quite large enough, so I just brought a drill bit in and ran it through. I'll show you how. I just ran it through all the way to our rear hole. We just kind of worked around just to get that metal spread out just a little bit, and I double checked, made sure our bolts would slide through, so now we're ready to lift our hitch up. Now we'll take our hitch and have 2 bolts on hand. Make sure before you install the bolts that you have a flat washer on each one. We'll just lift our hitch up into place, line it up with our 4 holes on the frame here. And once you have that lined up, you should be able to slide your hardware through. We'll get that one slid in, and then another one over here just to hold it up into place so we can get the other hardware in easily. Now for our nuts, one thing I always do is just put some painter's tape to kind of hold it into place. Because it's really tight up here, and the last thing you want to do is have to go chase a nut rolling down your driveway. So I'll just kind of slide it up into place and then spin the bolts. As long as you have it lined up, it'll eventually will bite. And we'll do that with the rest of the hardware. Now we'll take our wrench and a socket, which are 3/4 inch by the way, and we'll get our hardware tightened down. Now we'll torque our hardware down to the specification listed in the instructions. If you don't have your own torque wrench, we do have some available here at eTrailer, or you could always rent one from your local auto parts store. Now all that's left is to hang back up the exhaust if you took it down, but otherwise that's going to do it for our look at and installation of the CURT Custom Fit Trailer Hitch Receiver on our 2012 Jeep Wrangler.